Live from the heart of America, I'm Steve Gruber. I am your soldier of truth, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom every single day. Asking the questions nobody else will and demanding answers. So help me God. This is the Steve Gruber Show. Thank you for being here. And here are three big things you need to know to start your day today. Number one, Illinois fast-tracking its destruction of law and order and will soon be the first state in America to eradicate cash bail altogether. That should sure help clean up Chicago, huh? Number two, a new study says the whole EV movement will never deliver what was promised and will never produce results claimed by the cultists of the Green New Deal. Their religion is a fraud. And number three, we learned yesterday that Special Prosecutor Jack Smith is going to be rolling out more charges in the ongoing permanent investigation of Donald Trump. This time, Trump announced that he has been notified that he's the target of the grand jury investigation focused on January the 6th. Also yesterday, in big breaking news, 16 former Republican electors facing felony charges in Michigan as Dana Nessel levels charges against the Republicans and their political opponents for political activities. We'll get to that as well. I spoke to Ms. Shawn Maddock, the former co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party, at length yesterday evening. I'll tell you about that coming up a bit later. But let's talk about January 6th. You know, the first unarmed, uncoordinated insurrection in world history, where people who were let into the Capitol and took selfies of themselves have been prosecuted beyond the full extent of the law. Beyond the full extent of the law. Nothing says justice quite like throwing grandma into jail for walking into the Capitol, doing no damage at all, showing no signs of violence, and then leaving without actually committing a crime, while Team Biden can collect millions of dollars in shady deals to let foreign countries buy influence through Hunter Biden, and it appears Joe Biden directly as well, and have no consequences at all. Welcome to the new America. Yeah, this all makes perfect sense, huh? Not to mention the shortest line in the White House is made of Bolivian cocaine, but the Secret Service has no interest at all in investigating that little white lie. Anyway, let's focus on the relentless pursuit of Donald Trump for a moment, both by the weaponized Department of Justice and the most of the news operations in America. All right, Neil Cavuto really doesn't like Donald Trump, and Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't seem to care about all of that. Listen.
I do not think it should disqualify him legally from running. I think it should affect the decisions that voters make at the ballot box, because that's how we do things in the United States of America. The people of this country decide who leads them through a democratic process in our constitutional republic. So should voters take into account when deciding? Absolutely. And I'm making my case in the same election that Trump is, and I intend to win, Neil. But I want to win by convincing voters of why they should vote for me, not by having the federal police state eliminate my competition. That's why I stand on principle, and I say the same thing today that I have at every step of the way. You know what? Right after January 6th, I published it in the Wall Street Journal, making the case that censorship was responsible for what happened. 3 advisors to my company resigned. So, yes, it has been at considerable personal risk, too, Neil, that these are touchy subjects, but I believe it is important
but you've
to
also
speak the
been
truth
on
without
record,
apology.
You've also been on record as saying that you would pardon the president should he assume, or you assume office. Do you still stand by that? Because
I would,
there are a lot of people who do not like what went down and don't think you're in a position, should he become president, to go ahead and pardon him.
I don't like what went down, Neil, but what I really care about is moving our country forward.
You know what I'd say to that? I'm old enough to remember when Neil Cavuto at least appeared to be impartial. Makes me pretty old, doesn't it? Anyway, do facts matter in this country anymore? You have to wonder. Facts didn't matter for more than 2 years during the COVID pandemic. Facts don't matter with the southern border or with the economy. No, just keep gaslighting and repeating the lies over and over again, and soon the people will just overload and accept all the BS, or just walk away throwing their hands in the air, or both. I won't, but I think millions have done that already. Here on this program, and for me, facts do matter. And they're going to matter going forward, so let me remind you of something on the way to the next round of politically motivated charges against the former president, all right? Remember what Donald Trump said on January the 6th. It seems nobody in the left can remember, but he said, go home, be peaceful. It's what he said, and he said it on tape. Here's your reminder.
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
That's right. Go home in peace. Did he have grievances he was airing? Yes, of course he did. But he certainly was not calling for an insurrection, but that doesn't slow down Jack Smith at all. Congressman Matt Gaetz says it's time to stop funding Jack Smith's never-ending investigations. I happen to agree with that. It is a bit long, but here it is with the congressman from Florida. Listen.
You would not see this continued pattern of indictment over indictment over indictment if they thought they had neutralized Trump. Is there a single American who believes that Donald Trump would be getting indicted over these things if he were not running for president again and if he were not the leading contender for president again? And while this isn't a political show, you all can search the polling and see how President Trump is doing in the Republican field and in the general election. Again, not here to break that down. It's relevant to us insofar as it informs the decision of a weaponized government to target him, which is exactly the allegation that President Trump makes in his statement. Another important thing. The House of Representatives needs to take action to defund this special counsel investigation immediately. We do not need to wait for the appropriations process. We don't have to wait for the Holman Rule or some rider. They are attacking our democracy and engaging in election interference right now. And if the United States Congress does not have the capability to stop that election interference, well, then what is all the flowery oratory about preserving the republic?
What is all this flowery oratory about preserving the republic? Good question. Very good question, Congressman. As I told you, I spoke to Michonne Maddock, the former co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party, facing serious charges now, along with 15 others. Each of the 16 electors charged with 8 felonies, 2 counts of election law forgery, 2 counts of forgery, uttering and publishing, conspiracy to commit forgery, conspiracy to commit election law forgery, and conspiracy to commit forgery. Yeah. Some of those carry 14 years apiece in prison. All told, I think there was about 80 years worth of prison time there. You can check my math on it later. In my long conversation with Michonne Maddock last night, though, she said it's political persecution, not a criminal persecution. This is about Trump, Joe Biden, Jack Smith, Gretchen Whitmer, and Dana Nessel. They're adversaries of President Trump. They're using me and these electors to try to further their persecution of him. They want to use me to hurt him, she says. They want to hurt me to hurt him. Our judicial system used as a weapon against its own people. I can't say she's wrong from where I sit today. I'll be back.